John Kear, it's coming towards the end of the season now, the final 8 games, and on Saturday we go down the M1 and face the London Skolars.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I think their last 2 results, they played York down in London and only lost by 2 points. They went up to Whitehaven and all the travel problems that you have travelling from London to Whitehaven, and they just came up with an 8-point loss. So they're in pretty good nick. They're playing well. They've got a big forward pack. People like Lamont Bryan only know one way, and that's direct and aggressive. And they've got some clever halfbacks in Jamel Coleman and in Thorman, and I think Mike Bichet will be playing at fullback, who's really a scrum half. And they've got some strike wide out. So we'll be tested, and we know we'll be tested. It's a small ground. It's 60 metres by 92, so it's only a small ground. So it's difficult to score points on. So it's going to be a tough afternoon. And obviously, as you've pointed out, Mick, we've got the travel to contend with, which we've made arrangements in order to counter that.
In terms of the season, John, it was a second league defeat of the season against York. Are you going to look for a response this Saturday?
I don't think I'll need to look for it. I think the players will offer it, to tell you the truth. And they had a response last Sunday, to tell you the truth, because we had a stinker of the first 30 minutes. There's no doubt about that. And the people who are most aware of that are the players. And obviously we got that try just before half-time, which gave us that glimmer of hope. And the players really, they were very confident at half-time. They knew what to fix up at half-time. And there was a response on the day, which I was delighted about. But obviously, we came a goal kick short, which it shows how well they did respond. But that's behind us now. There's nothing you can do about that. That's in the newspapers. It's on the league table. So what we've got to do is look forward to the next 8 weeks, and we've got to knock the games off one by one, hopefully in a successful manner. And should we do that, it's still in our hands. And obviously, game number 1 is London Skolars with all the challenges that they present.
I mean, you mentioned previously after the game against Workington, there was some self-assessment from the players and a lot of honesty. Has that been the case this time around?
There was honesty at half-time. The half-time dressing rooms were really good. And I sat down with them and I asked them for their opinion and what they felt was wrong and how to correct it. And in all honesty, they virtually nailed it. I think the only thing I needed to add to them was that it was imperative that the first points went to us. And should the first points go to us, seeds of doubt would appear in the York mind, and we could kick on from that. And so the self-assessment was really good. But as I say, I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not dwelling on the negatives. Rugby league people like negatives, don't they? Well, I don't. I like positives. So I'm going to look at the positives and try and be positive for the remainder of the season as well.
There's going to be a couple of positional changes this weekend. One of those is going to be to the half-back combination with Joe Keys suffering his second concussion of the season.
Yeah, it is, yes. I mean, obviously, Joe's come through okay. He's been to see the specialist earlier in the week. He'll now do his return to play protocol, but it's an 8-day turnaround, so that takes him through to Monday of next week. So he'll train fully on the Tuesday of next week. So we don't envisage any problems with Joe, and we feel he'll be available for the Whitehaven game. But obviously we've got the problem of the London Skolars in the meantime, so it means a different half-back pairing, and I don't think you need to be a professor of rugby league to work out what the pairing will be. It's going to be Jordan Lilly and Dane Chisholm, so it'll be great to see Jordan Lilly come back to the club and make his debut once again.
And obviously that's not going to be a fresh half-back pairing, because last season Jordan and Dane had numerous games together.
Yeah, well, I wasn't aware of that, because I thought Dane only played a few minutes. Yeah, only played one game, so I think it was a very brief relationship. So
summer bash.
Yeah. So I think I'm hoping it'll be a longer relationship this time. So yeah, but they know each other pretty well. Dane knows that Jordan's a good player. Jordan knows that Dane's a good player, and I'm pretty certain that we can come up with a formula that will allow them to work together really efficiently.
And obviously, since Jordan joined, what's he been like, John, integrating in the system?
He's been marvellous, to tell you the truth, and I think he's enjoyed being here. He's just bubbly and enthusiastic and effervescent, and I like people like that because they energise you. and he's certainly done that. And I'm really looking forward to getting him out on the field of play and seeing him perform. I really am. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to massively on Saturday.
And Toya Igodo, who's joined on a season loan to the end of the season, can we expect him to feature?
Well, we've only just got him today, the Thursday, so and he's already trained with Castleford in the morning, so I'm going to have a chat with him, see if he is able to do the team run, etc., and then we'll decide. But you don't bring people in, Mick, if you're not going to play them, do you? We're not going to bring people in to sit them in stand and boost the crowd. Our crowds are good enough. What we're doing is we're bringing them in to go on the field of play so the crowds can enjoy them. So if Toyo feels okay, if he feels as if he understands what we're after, okay, he'll probably get a shirt.
And in terms of Lee Smith, is Lee Smith still a doubt for Saturday?
Yeah, Lee's out. Yeah, he's struggling with his Achilles injury, and that's one of the reasons we went for Toyo and Jai, because we need 3 quarters, and that need's been met now. So it makes things a lot easier for everybody. If Smith is another couple of weeks or whatever, there's no need to rush him whatsoever. So we can make sure that we've got a really representative team in whatever department turning out on Saturday.
Is it fair to say, John, that the final 8 games of the season are all like mini grand finals?
Yeah, they are. They're all, you're through the trap door if you lose one, aren't you? We know that, and York know that. So, it's going to be a tough last 8 weeks. But you should enjoy periods like this, and I'm harking back in my own mindset to Wakefield 2006, and we had a 6-game period that I would like to say was a lot more stressful than this, because if we weren't successful, we're out of Super League, and we managed to be successful. So I'll draw on experiences such as that in order to help the players to A, adjust to what's in front of them, but B, hopefully be very successful as well in approaching the problems that confront them.
And I know we like talking about stats, John, but I thought it was quite pertinent when I was actually comparing the crowd at Odsal last Sunday against some of the Super League crowds, and that crowd, 6,441, actually beat 33 individual Super League games this season. I mean, that really is quite a telling stat when you look at it.
It is, massively, yeah, it is. And there was a Super League game played, 12, 13 miles down the road, wasn't there, in Yorkshire, and against very attractive opposition, Hull FC, with a lot on the game. And there were a lot more at Bradford than at Wakefield. So the fans can feel really proud what they've brought this season, and we just want them to stay with us and want them to keep boosting us and want them to be our 18th man so that we can nail what we're really after.